All right. Sorry about that. I did not know it was going to catch me stretching. But Grand Rising family. Um, Salam Akbarat. Peace and blessings. In peace, you'll find blessings. And when you get to those blessings, you'll find peace again. Because, like we said last time, growth is being given another problem. Growth is obtaining another problem. Not a problem though. It's Abba telling you what? He's telling you that, hey, great job, next task, right? So, anyway, it's kind of off that, but I was just led to start with that. I was driving up here, right? Oh, he's being safe. I was driving up here to Maryland, right? Uh, and shalom to all my fam up here. I'm just in and out of here though, but shalom to you up here in Elk Ridge. But I was driving up here, right, and I hit a traffic jam because I saw up on top of the hill from way back that a trucker was, they had the incident. Unfortunately, I mean, it seemed like the person was okay, thankfully, but unfortunately he wasn't paying attention and ran into the back of a truck. Airbags imploded and all that stuff, but he's fine. He's fine, and apologies if that triggered anybody. I've lost people like that too, you know. But I was looking at we use something called Copilot, Copilot. It's a trucker app for directions, right? And of course, as I keep going, Salah on every single word. I speak not mad, but I speak very metaphorically. Being mad is seeing something as a title and not an action. Seeing something solely as a title and not an action, because Abba is action. Abba, the name is himself, of father, right? So I use those terms. Name himself. That's kind of like I believe they call it. I don't know, so I'm not even gonna try. I do know, but I need to look that up first before I just throw it out there. Out of respect, right? But it's a thought. It's an action, right? So I love ba'ait. I love. We know that, right? So, um, but back to the story. I'm driving up here, right? It seems like the person's okay. Um, and I'm over here looking at the Copilot app. I'm looking for a detour. And I hit the button, hit the detour button, and I didn't know it was a detour button. I didn't know at all. So I hit the button. I was trying to find something. I knew I hit it on accident one time, but I was trying to find it, so I hit it again. Boom! I hit the button and it pulled up a detour that I could hit real quick. I was like, that's smooth, right? And it was like I was doing the same thing. I'm hitting the same route, but I'm finding something to help me out more because I've earned the right to have a detour, right? But to automatically be able to tap into a detour. And it reminded me of a study we're going to jump into next weekend, because this weekend Abba has it that I am going to spend some quality time, right? But this is what he brought out. You know, when you do this work, this is what comes from it. Shalom, peace, fam. And but we're going to be talking about Obed Edom, or Obad Adam, right? That breaks down to a lot. We're going to go into that too as well, but that's not the purpose for this. I was kind of just letting it marinate, right? And we dive in. I dive into many different views of the same topic. So I figured instead of trying to drop it all in one thing, I would like to, or I'm led to kind of just drop it on these lives. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be talking about Obed Edom, or Obad Adam, right? And many know he was about talking about the thrashing floor, okay? But going into the breakdown of the name a little bit, and relating it to the story of me driving up the road up here in Maryland, heading to Elk Ridge, and I see an incident, and I'm like, I got to get around this. Traffic's ready to look crazy. I'm pretty sure this is going to extend forward, because after that, people rush out of the traffic jam, and it usually leads to another one, usually. But I was looking at the GPS, seeing that I found the route, and I related it to Obed Edom, because Obed Edom, thinking about Edom, or where it originated from. about the side of Esau, and we go back all the way to the side of Cain, because Cain had a side, like there was a Lamech from Cain's lineage, and there was a Lamech from from Seth's lineage, well, Adam's lineage, right? Abel's lineage or Seth's lineage, however you want to keep going on about that. Divvy on that on your own time, marinate on that, what I just said. But for these purposes, I'm gonna keep going. But Obed Edom, going all the way down to him, it's like an Esau side of things. But Obed Edom was the one that had the Ark of the Covenant in his house, right? But being a Edomite, going back to Edom, not being a skin tone thing, but a mindset thing, going back to that, it's like doing the same thing, but in a righteous way, because you're given righteous options. So instead of doubting like the rest of them did about having the Ark of the Covenant, touching the Ark of the Covenant, you could even consider himself Levitical, right? You could consider him Levitical because of how he maintained things, but coming from a lineage that wasn't maintaining it correctly. You get what I'm saying? So, repetition ain't really a bad thing. I notice a lot thinking about that I do the same thing. I go the same way, but I'm allowed a better option in order to swim through it more properly, because this is the way, So that thrashing floor, that time of life, going through things, when I'm realizing is repetition isn't really a bad thing. But don't get caught up in the images of things, just like a Gentile thing, because the Gentiles associate images with things, and that's what makes them incorrect. So lie on that. Even if you want to kind of do a Hebrew character flow with it, carefully, right? Just because you can see these things, because as Abba works, he gives many different aspects to everything, but everything originates from him. So you can kind of do the same thing with whatever name. You get what I'm saying? Like Gentile, you see that AYL, or that image before the righteous direction, the image, the ion before the lamad. You get what I'm saying? So it's like putting that image before a direction instead of just going to the Allah Hayam, from Allah to lamad, right? That's the difference of what's going on there. The Gentiles more so are very used to putting an image to things, getting caught up in the image of things, instead of realizing, hey, I'm going down the same road, doing the same thing, but there's a detour this time, right? Going around the same things, just like Obed Edom. Everybody else was weary of that Ark of the Covenant, really weary of it, because of somebody just touching it and boom, they drop dead, right? But somebody had to touch that, right? But Obed Edom, although coming from a lineage, coming from a line of things that weren't really correct, much like myself, right? Not saying, again, I never put my parents out there. They did nothing wrong. This has been a very grown man decision with a stubborn mindset, but I had to go through these ways in order to see things differently, doing the same thing, but going a different route with things. So be aware of that. Just out here dropping a reminder, like before when I was going live, not live, but dropping videos on TikTok, I will always come out with, hey, this is a reminder. Right, but study Obed Edom. We're gonna be going into that again next Friday. This weekend, Abba's let me to spend some quality time with a special person, right? And I'm gonna do that this weekend because your boy deserves it, right? But yeah, don't get caught up in the images of things like a Gentile, right? Then also, you come from his image. You come from the image of Allah Hayam, right? So Allah Lamed, I love Hey, Yavad, Mom, I love Mom, right? You come from that. So in that, from the righteous direction being spoken into the blood, water, and spirit, you get into that, right? But that comes from everything, because he is everything. He is where everything comes from. He told, again, Adam and Eve, we're going to use that terminology just to make it smoother for relation purposes. Adam and Eve, he told Adam not to touch this tree. Not saying that you can never eat of this tree. He was saying you couldn't eat of it yet. You weren't ready for it yet. He did, and what happened? He was aware of a lot of things around him, right? He thought he was naked. He wasn't ready for it, right? But with everything going on, and as we go down these roads, there are parallels, there are intersections, there are 90-degree angles, there are 100-degree turns, there are 45-degree angles. There are many different aspects to this life of going down the same road. Just like this scale over here beside me. Many different trucks come across that scale, and I guarantee it's a different weight every time, right? Why is that? Because sometimes you got to go through life and you got to be able to see. Not sometimes, every time you go through life, Salah, you have to see what's going on. You get what I'm saying? So if you don't see what's going on, you're not going to be able to relate everything. So think about the surroundings, just like dreams. When you're having these dreams and stuff like that, and you're meditating with Abba about it, think about what's going on, right? What's the surrounding going on? What's in the background? What's under your feet? What's in front of your eyes? How many of these things are around? How many dexterities are there? You know, because these are many different angles, many different things. Here on this channel, what I'm led to do, as Abba has led me, is to study creation, right? Not worship creation, but study it. It's something that can never end. Not until heaven and earth passes away, right? So we study creation here on this page. Whoever wants to come through and stuff like that, we got Discord. We got many great brothers on there, dropping words and stuff like that. Nice verses. Also, Salah moment on Psalms 119 verse 100, I believe, right? Read that as well to relate it to this video. But we study creation fireside. What I mean by that, we study creation with a refined fire mindset, as our Abba does. Because if we don't do it as Father does, we're not going to be able to see what's going on. They make you afraid to do that, right? Because I'm telling you, once I was like, I got bold. I said, you know what? I don't get it. I don't get it. I got to think like Abba, because if I don't think like Abba, I don't get it, right? You got to. You got to think like Abba. You got to think like Father. If you don't know what that means, Abba means Father. If you got to think like Father, you got to think like the Messiah, right? Because if you don't, you're gonna miss it. You're gonna be knocked over everything. When they say don't call yourself Him, but call yourself in Him. You get what I'm saying? Because if you do that, you're able to see things, you're able to hear things and envision things. And many of that saying came from a leadership role that wanted to keep people in a certain box. You get what I'm saying? Not pulling anybody into any accusations, but that's just what happened, right? Plainly speaking. And in order to get out of that, you got to get into the bag of Jacob, Yaakov. You got to get into the meanings of the 12 patriarchs. You got to get into, oh man, what we going to last week? I believe it was Luke 24:45. No, Acts. No, it might have been Acts 24:45. But the live we had last week, it slips my mind right now. We were talking about how the Messiah told them on the third day, just like Him, man will rise, right? What happened on the third day in Genesis, or Barashayat? All the seeds planted brought forth yielding things, right? And I was listening to my brother Dorsey this rising this morning, and he said something that went right in line with it, you know? I mean, he just went more in depth as Abba was leading me to listen. I'm like, all right, I needed that. I caught that, you know, I had that in me. That's how I was able to catch that. I speak like that so you're able to see things in yourself and how it works. But he said that, you know, that's where the depths of things come from. Let me open this door because it's getting a little toasty. I didn't want the truck to be running. But getting in depth with things. Just like when Eve, right? I'm going to use that terminology. Eve, man, brother did a great thing. If you see this brother, great work, man. Eve was brought forth from a fully planted garden, not just everything. And many may say, you just said that on the third day. No, like with the animals and everything, like came from Adam, right? Came from the rib of Adam, because Adam saw that Adam felt like he was ready, and Abba said, you need this to at least help you out a little bit. Salah on that, take that through the rest of the word. But Eve was brought forth from a place and brought into a fully planted garden, right? Salah. Women are wisdom multipliers, right? Either from the sweet smelling things or from the depths of things, where things might come from a place where it's stinky, grimy, compacted, but she's able to reach into man and bring out what man is settled in, the garden that man is settled in, right? Salah and all that. That also goes right back of doing the same thing as the animals, the beasts of the field, the fowl of the air, the things of the fish of the sea, and also the seed of the ground, doing the same things over and over again, but yet a different view. Still the same garden, but still multiplications. Everything has a certain purpose, right? So going back all the way to the beginning, before I cut this off real quick, I'm gonna double check and make sure I haven't even got docked in, but I gotta do my stretches and my little workout that I do when I park. I just literally park, but this word had to get out because I didn't want to lose a single bit of it. So look up Psalms 119, verse 100. Also, thinking about Esdras, right? Also remember this as you're going through life, because everything is repeated, right? The same process is repeated all the time. So Salah on this as well. Esdras, he rewrote the Bible, right? There was a certain point where all the books were burned, right? He was responsible for writing the Bible over again. One part one time, and one part he was told to save for later. Salah, please, right? Because I can give my interpretation, not my interpretation, the interpretation that was left there for us to pick up, right? I could give it in the way that I received it, but everybody receives it in many different ways. So I leave it like that for that reason. But Esdras, all right, he's loading the trailer beside me. Esdras, he had to rewrite the Bible and stuff like that, right? He was ordered to by Abba. Why? That says a lot right there, because you're going to go through the same thing and be able to see the same things and project and protect and be prophetical in the same ways, right? But in your own view, because everybody can also read that Bible and know what he's talking about. He wrote about the forecoming and of the Messiah, everything like that, and how everything was going to happen down the line, just like the Bible did, in the exact words, pretty much, right? Or exactly, right? Because it's the same language. Everything's based off the same language spoken from Abba into the blood, water, and spirit of everybody different, and every single cell differently, every makeup of things differently. You can't really use everybody for all seasons. Just like, not use, that's terrible, but not everybody's going to be able to help guide you through every season. You get what I'm saying? Even me. I know a lot of people like listening to me and stuff like that as I'm able to walk with Abba, but I'm not going to be able to walk with you through everything, right? This is just for a season. So just like, you can stay in one place for a long time, but you're not going to really learn much in that one place after a while. It's a lot, because every time you get to a place, you move forward. So misinterpreted growth is thinking that a problem isn't growth. A problem is growth. You're given a new problem because you're growing. And the only problem is being able to see something in the correct way, because a lot of times we try to see things in one way, right? Take that with a grain of salt. I'm not saying that no, that is what I'm saying. Like only seeing it one way, because you had to see it in righteousness and you had to see it in wickedness. These are the parallel lines coming from Father. That's all I'm saying. Take it to Father. That's just do that, right? But this is how everything works together, and it was just another aspect of Obed Edom or Obad Adam. The only thing that makes you bad or alone or mad in the mind is thinking that, again, something is just a title when everything is an action, right? This goes from being Hebrew, this goes to being of Israel, this goes to spread it across the whole bread, because the name, just like even the order of Melchizedek, right? These are just the terminologies that lead you to knowing the action. So to hold somebody accountable of saying a name instead of knowing a work, salam, that, not saying either one is separate in importance, but both of those together are important. So let that person walk, right? But going over and one thing, if Obed Edom was one like that, oh, you're an Edomite? Oh, you came from a Philistine mindset? Oh, going all the way back to Esau? Oh, we could go all the way back to Cain with that and stop there? Who would have helped put the Ark of the Covenant into a home, into a farmer's home? Right? Who would be able to protect that? Right? Because remember, the Ark of the Covenant came in on a buggy or on a cart that was poorly made. It was made by the hands of man, right? To carry that, right? But it's supposed to be placed in one place for everybody to know where it is to access, to be able to access it. You know what I'm saying? So we are here to, as my big sis say, crucify the flesh daily. Crucify the flesh daily, right? That's what we're here to do. The flesh sees things as specifically one way. And I know this can make some people, it can only make somebody stumble if they don't study what I'm saying, right? So again, we're not responsible for anybody. We are accountable to the word. We're accountable. We're held accountable. We're not held responsible, right? We're not held responsible. We're held accountable. Okay? So take into account what I'm saying and go into accounting methods and break down the numbers, take them to letters and take it to name and bring it back to action. You know what I'm saying? Put it all together. Bring it all together, fam. But I reckon that's it. I was jotting down notes. I think that's about it. All the main points that I was led to kind of touch on. I'm going to keep marinating on this. Remember, repetition is not a bad thing. It's only insanity if you're doing the same thing. Doing the same thing and expecting the same result by doing nothing different. It's a lot. Balls in your court. Salam al Barak, fam. Salam al Barak. I'm going to go do these stretches and stuff. I haven't even gotten the red light to say I'm docked in, so I still got time to really start this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get this little workout in, this little mini workout in, as close to the truck as possible. People be doing mysterious things in these parking lots. But peace and blessings, fam. Peace and blessings. I'm going to catch y'all next time. Study Obed Edom, Abad Adam. Study the Ark of the Covenant. Study what the cart came in on, just like I was talking about before, the aspects of everything, how to properly learn or properly see the interpretation that was given to us. We have to see everything that's around it to make it up, everything that holds it together, everything that moves it, because these are actions. We got to study the action, but not just seeing it in, don't just see it in righteousness, see it in wickedness, but don't get caught up in wickedness. You know what I'm saying? This is the way. Salam al Barak, fam. Until next time, peace.